Alright, once again, this is part 7. I am Jeffrey W. Jansen. I'm outside right now, so I apologize for the darkness of my camera and everything else. We are on part 7. Okay, today is August 18th, 2017. You might see a light behind me. My daughter's coming outside to look for bugs. And I wanted to get the next 4, because I have a few more after this, but I'm not going to do those till tomorrow. So we are on part 7. So remember, so far we've went over unlimited amount of legal advice on unlimited situations, including pre-existing, unlimited amount of questions. We went out over letters and phone calls. You get letters and phone calls. We went over 15 contracts or documents. We went over our emergency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 2 lawyers out of every one of our law firms takes a cell phone home, speaks English, and is coherent at a moment's notice. Okay, we went over the phone apps and everything that's on the phone app. We then went over after 90 days, you get uncontested name change, uncontested adoption, uncontested divorce, uncontested separation, uncontested foster care. Meaning, as long as it's not contested, our lawyers are going to take care of it for you after 90 days. And then the one we just got done doing is the 60 hours of civil trial defense time. That's trial and pretrial, if named defendant or respondent, okay, and any covered civil action suit. So now, this one is number 7. Okay, number 7 is actually one that's near and dear to my heart. The reason why is because it deals with your will, your healthcare power of attorney, your living will. So in other words, our lawyers, we do from day one, our lawyers prepare your will, your living will, and your healthcare power of attorney and trust for minors. What does that mean? For $20, $19.95, doesn't have to be per month. Remember, for $19.95, you get your will done. Now, what does a will look like? This is a will. This is a will questionnaire. You come through here, you fill it out. Great. Some people don't do that. So what did our company do? Our company then decided, well, since they didn't do their will with paper, but they have it, we need to make sure they get it done. We will put it through an email, so you can do it on an email. Okay, that was great, but then they came up with an even better. On our phone app, we have our wills on there. Our will is on our phone app. So in other words, you go on there, you push it, it doesn't go in anything, it just goes right down, you answer all the questions, goes to your law firm will basically type it all up, send it to you, you look it over, it's all correct, you go to the library, get it notarized by a notary, and then you keep it in a safe spot. Then your will is done, and it's good for life. Now, every year you're part of us, we will update your will at no extra charge. If you already have a will done, we'll go ahead and update it for you. But when was the last time you had somebody offer you a will for 20 bucks? And it's the exact same one that my dad went in after my mom died of cancer, and he spent $1,400 to get. I do the exact same one now for $20. LegalShield has no copays. We have no termination fees, no deductibles. All right? So when you come in there, you get a will for 20 bucks, and if that's all you want, then you can just stop, and there's no termination fees. You just stop. You have a $20, $19.95 will. Now, what does this mean to you? When a lot of people don't understand what probate is, and this is the reason why I tell you that I have to sit there and explain some stuff to you. What is probate? Probate is, most states have what's called probate court. Probate court is basically, if something happens to you, a court is now in charge of you, your assets, your children, everything about your home life, your family life, unless you have a healthcare power of attorney, a living will, or a will. In other words, down in Florida, if you remember the case where the young lady was on life support for many years, her husband wanted to keep her on the feeding tubes, her mom and dad wanted to take her off. Guess what? They were both right, but they're both wrong. Because the courts decided to keep her on, recognizing the husband will, but it was all in probate court. And the mom and dad and the husband just kept fighting it out, but guess what? They were all right. Because they loved this lady. But the thing about it is, she did not have a will. Now, you notice I said she was married, and it did not give jurisdiction to the husband. The probate court took over. I know in Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Missouri, they have what's called probate court. I know a majority of all states have probate court, which means if you don't have a will, a court is in charge of you. A court is in charge if you get to stay on life support or get taken off life support. If you are in a coma, there you get to determine who your kids get to go to. It doesn't boil down to who your husband or wife is. It doesn't boil down to who your mom and dad is. It boils down to what the court feels is best for you, because you did not leave any information on how you wanted your living rights or last rights to be represented. But a will take care of all that. When I went into the Marine Corps, I filled out a will when I first got in and didn't think much of it. I was 18 years old and I didn't think much of it. Now I'm going to all the different military bases and everywhere else. Do you know I went and talked to over 400 people in the Army and Marine Corps a couple of weeks back, and only 20 of them had their wills done, and they're deployable units. In other words, they can be deployed at any time and they have no will. They have life insurance policies, they have their kids, if they go into combat, they have all this stuff for the VA. But if something happens to them, their kids get nothing. Nobody gets anything because nothing is left to them unless you have a will. In other words, in order to complete your life and have a completion within your life, you need a will, a healthcare power of attorney, a living will, and trust for minors, meaning something for your children. And we take care of all that for $20 when you come on with LegalShield. That is part of our membership. You automatically get that. And I believe it is one of the most important things. Why? Because I have a great dad who means the world to me. But when he paid $1,400, and turns out, the courts were almost in charge of my mom. Luckily for us that our lawyer was able to get all this stuff written up right away. $1,400 for what? For a piece of paper saying where you want your last will and rights to be? For something to protect who? Who? You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your livelihood. It's not about your money. Okay, it's about where your organs go. It's about if you're an organ donor. It's about who gets custody of your kids. If you did die, what if there's a lawsuit left behind? Or what if you were taking a medication that lost in court and turns out it was the reason why you went into a coma? Who's going to get that money? How are your kids going to know if you love them or not if you can't even pick up your phone, take a video of yourself telling your kids and your loved ones and your wife or your husband that you love them, and you put that in the will and say, hey, look in my phone, there's a special video just for you and the kids. How do they know it's in there? How do they know after you die? They just don't throw away the phone because they can't take it no more. But your stuff is left inside that phone. You need to let people know that they matter. It's not about you. It's about those that love you. And even if you don't love somebody, there's somebody out there that thinks you're important and you matter to somebody. My little girl right here, it means the world to me. She is everything I got. And I promise you, I have my will done. I have my living will done. I have my healthcare power of attorney, and I got trust for minors. Okay? And I also have videos that I make for her all the time to show that she knows I love her. But what if I get Alzheimer's or something like that? Make a video for yourself. What if, something tragic were to happen and you need to remind yourself, look, do the will in a way that you are best suited to do it. Make it about what you want. Make what's important to you, to everybody else. So if you're in a coma, if you're on drugs that you had to take for cancer or something, and all of a sudden they rule you, incompetent, who do you want to take charge of your life, even though you think you are? Be sensible. This is part 7, okay? And today is August 18th, 2017. And speaking of will, know this. Each and every one of you matters. Each and every one of you is important. And that's why I'm doing this here today, because why go to a lawyer and spend thousands of dollars when you don't have to, when you're able to do the very same thing because you're a mature adult, you're over the age of 18 years old, and now you're actually getting your life handed to you by saying, hey, let's make smart choices. LegalShield is a smart choice. Other companies may promise something out there. Doesn't mean they have it. We do. And we will back it and we will hold to it. And you can call me, member services. You can call the law firms. You can call whatever it takes. We're not perfect. But I tell you what, when you start getting things that you normally need to have done anyway, it makes a world of difference. My name is Jeffrey Jansen. We are going to go on to part 8 now. I'll talk to everybody in just a second.